What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 8 of the Goood Sh podcast. I'm Oscar Cifuentes.
DJ DSP on Sutherland.
P90X Basketball Fundos.
I'm Noah Griffin.
And I'm Anthony Ferrara.
We welcome
AKA
you once
George
again.
Michael.
Again,
I was going to say it.
we had to do it, but let's just talk about the elephant in the room, fellas. That the thing that's been taking the wrestling business. Basically, a massive earthquake has gone through the wrestling business with the speaking out movement, blowing up all over the internet, blowing up all over the business, all over the world. It's really shaken up and opened our eyes to what's really going on behind the scenes when it comes to, wrestlers, how they interact with other wrestlers, some fans, and, just what happens when the cameras aren't rolling or the show's over. And this is just, it's kind of shocking because, we've seen a lot of names been dropped and, most of them have made statements and others have gone on to, some have deleted their Twitters and just gone off social media for a while. There have been some suspensions amongst, certain wrestlers from certain promotions and it's just crazy right now because, and, while we applaud those who have spoken out, we applaud you very much. We support you. We're just shocked by, some of the names that have been dropped throughout this whole week you just never think to see certain people in that light,
It's very disheartening because when you talk about how people can use their own body against another person's body to kind of just take control, to be violent, to have some sort of power over somebody, the kind of abuse that you can endure just from another person. And we're not being specific with genders because as we've seen, it happens all different ways. It's same sex on sex. It's different sex on sex. Overall, what it's all been going on, it's uncomforting. It's a very uncomforting situation. It's a very uncomforting conversation. Conversations that we need to have, but conversations that are not easy nonetheless, because it always comes down to who's lying and who's doing it just for gain. I see for the most part, there's nothing to gain from this. There's only a way.
There really isn't.
There's only a way just to destroy something that's built of prophecy on lies, really. A career or a business or just whatever. There are a lot of people that are involved in this that are fans and that are wrestlers themselves. And if you can't be comfortable in a situation, if you let's put it this way, you are deliberately going out of your way to put somebody in harm's way sexually. You're doing it intentionally.
Or mentally or emotionally or even physically.
And you have no idea in your mind that, oh, this is probably wrong. Oh, I shouldn't be doing this. And you're saying, fuck it, because I need to get what I want or I need to get whatever. You're just a bad person, bro. You're just not. I can understand there are some situations here that don't seem like they are what they appear to be. And also there are some situations where they've occurred because somebody was intoxicated or drunk. You can you could still control yourself in a way. You could still understand. I mean, and even at that point, like most people would understand and be like, damn, I fucked up. But there's no remorse for most of these people. And even if there are any statements, they kind of seem half-assed. Kind of like, oh, the victims are brave for speaking out, except for mine. That's bullshit. But the other victims, you're great. It's like you're better off not saying anything at all. You're better off.
Yeah.
And what we've seen lately, especially when it comes to people speaking out about something like that, there are people that are not looking to really get somebody else in trouble. They're not also really looking to get them in jail. What it kind of more is the thing is like, it's the conversation we're supposed to be having. Like, these guys did this. They should know, or girls, they should know that they did this and it was wrong because it made me feel like that. Because we don't want to normalize things like that because there are things that normalized it. And there's a culture that they call it after. So we want to break the mold. So if you got to just put somebody on blast just to change their perspective or just like to change and see what they're doing, go for it. Because it has happened before, not even just in wrestling, but in other fields, as, such as music, such as acting, such as fashion. It's happened before, and people have converted. They've done sensitivity training, or they've realized the error of their ways, and they've made a turn for the better, and they've been supportive of whatever they seem to get themselves in, which is good. But I don't see a lot of transformation here, honestly. It's too much to look at. It's too much to go on for people to be like, this is bullshit. Now this is bullshit. Now this is bullshit.
It's just been so hard to look at, especially like going through Twitter, because even because how Twitter is. Twitter's a fucking cesspool. Because whether it's true or not saying that it is, not saying that it's not, people are so quick to just judge, like, oh, this comes out, and it's just like everybody on Twitter is just like judge, jury, executioner. They want to come for your head. They want to come for your career. They want to come for your life. And it's just like, come on, like, really, like, they've already fucked up enough. Like, they don't, like, it's just crazy.
The situation may not seem what it is, but you can't dismiss somebody's feelings.
Yeah.
Feelings are valid, but what the situation appears to be, sometimes it is and sometimes it's not. But those feelings are very valid, though. You can't deny that, because look what happened.
Absolutely. Like,
I'm not gonna lie. There's one. I was just gonna say, I give respect to one person. I'm not gonna. Everybody kind of knows who he is. He got called out on Twitter, this and that. So, but he did the right thing, and he actually went to the person he was just talking about and had a one-on-one conversation and apologized for the situation. He was suspended without pay, and he's going to do sensitivity training. But out of all of this, he knows he did something wrong. Even if it was 4 years ago, it doesn't matter. It's automatically there. But I give respect to him and both sides for coming together and actually talking about the situation, knowing who did wrong and what to do better in the future. So
much respect, much respect to the both of them for that. But I was gonna say, I agree with the only thing too is I feel like this is so much more on a mental aspect, so much more on a mental aspect, and we really, again, we don't know what's truth, what's not truth. Always, obviously, always believe the victim. But also too, I also feel like if multiple people are coming up to speak on this, then it can't be it can't be false. It actually has to be true. It just can't just be like one person. You know what I mean? But even one person is still too much in general.
Yeah.
But if you have more people that are repeat offenses, then that's you chose that. You chose that. There's no way if ands buts about that. And then going off the fact of intoxication, I don't care what anybody says. You could be wasted, but you still have something in your mind okay, stop, wait a second, chill out. The fuck am I doing? You know what I mean? It's I don't care if you're drunk, I don't care if you're high, I don't care if you're off of shrooms or whatever the hell it is that people are doing nowadays. You still have a wherewithal where your brain still has okay, I know what's going on. It may not be fully, but at least you have some type of instance because you know what's right and wrong. And if you know what's right and wrong in your head, then you should be able to not do what you did. And that's my opinion on that.
There is something about this where it's a majority of them have had one instance, and it's okay. There are some people that have multiple instances where some are no good, and then some that are I don't know what to do. But there is one of them in particular that has, if I'm correct to date as we speak, 17 accusations against you, and they're all the worst of the worst. And I don't think that person's got a shot of doing anything ever again. You better have good lawyers, or you better have very good reasons as to I don't even know the word. You just better make it out of it alive.
But it's another thing too. It's just why?
Yeah.
After
you're weird, okay. Whatever. You're fucking weird. But if you are putting yourself, like we said, if you, me, Noah and I said, if you're putting yourself constantly through the ringer of being physically, emotionally, mentally abusive towards these people, you don't fucking deserve a chance. You're done.
Might as pack it up, go home. You're done.
Mm-hmm. And it's too, you don't even know, not even know, you don't think you're selfish in that way because you don't think about the other person.
Yeah.
And the other person is much worse because obviously it's what's going on to them. But that's why I'm so big on mental health, because you really don't know how fucked up that person might be. Like, you don't know. There might be situations in the past because, again, hurt people. And it's a continuous fucking cycle. And if we don't really get to the bottom of what is ailing people the most to make decisions like that, then shit like this is never going to be changed, and it should be changed. But especially in a wrestling community where it's, I'm not gonna lie, it's predominantly white men, it's predominantly black men. This has black men as well and women, but like women didn't really get much of the opportunities that men have gotten for the past, since damn near the beginning of professional wrestling. You know what I mean? So like, we're not like, when we look at superstars, like we are like, oh yeah, they're the best. They're like, oh no, we hate them, but like we never think so much of them up to this standpoint.
We only think so far as like the character.
Exactly.
We don't think of the person behind said character.
Exactly. Like, who's an asshole? Who's a really nice person? Who's fake when we like fan? Huh?
I'll say this: just because all these accusations are coming out now, this is the present tense for the last couple years. What about the past decades that this has been going on properly?
Yeah.
We're talking about the 90s, the 80s from professional wrestling. This is not only a wrestling community. This goes on a daily basis in today's society. That's the messed up part about it. Everything. People just don't know how to stop. They're that messed up that they can't stop. That's the sad part.
There's also not enough support for this conversation where people don't even know like how to cope with it. Like, there's been a couple of people that have said their stories that have coped with it very well. I'm sure it still hurts them, but they're coping for the most part just fine. And it's like, I want to make sure that you're okay on every level. And I'm glad Noah's saying something about mental health and stressing that, because I think for the first time in wrestling, and as bad as this is, I'm so happy that wrestling can shed light on this, because of wrestling. This is the first time that we have this come about in this community. And somebody said, let's send them to sensitivity training, because everybody else, we don't know where they've been. I don't know what they've taken protocols to kind of fix the situation or fix this. Not even R. Kelly, bro. R. Kelly, they had so much shit with that. And they said that was a lot of mental that, you know, some people can research on another day. But not even with them, they were like, oh, let's get them sensitivity training, because that was just so much deeper. But they didn't even have a way for them to look into that mentally. With the one person that we talked about who said it was 4 years ago, sensitivity training. And even with another wrestler, also, we're going to send them to rehab and sensitivity training. It's like, that's the good step, because a lot of this is mental, is physical. You know, we can always worry about getting somebody later and throwing them into a jail cell. But if we don't fix the problem now, we don't make this an okay conversation to have, we will never fix it. But because it's so triggering and it's just so toxic to talk about, and it's not easy.
If we even that, it's just like, it just makes people uncomfortable, and people are so quick to just, you know, throw to the side what makes them uncomfortable, just because, you know, they don't want to deal with that. And that's not the way to handle things. You got to face things head on. And if it makes you uncomfortable, that's only gonna, you know, that's gonna get you closer to the point. Like, it's gonna help progress what's going on, especially when it comes to people's mental health. Like, you can't.
For more people, it's better to bottle it up than to explore who you are.
Word, because otherwise, it's like a champagne cork. Pop it, and you just explode.
Yeah, it's not a little bubbly either.
I was gonna say too, like, you put water in a kettle, and you turn on the fire. It's gonna start steaming up after a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like, it only takes a couple things. It really does, and like, I feel like too, you know, I feel like this is gonna create a more difficult conversations for everybody, which should be had, but also too, this also sheds light on a lot of these different companies. What the fuck have you been doing in terms of sensitivity training or anything of that nature since you've been in inception? Have you not done that? Have you not given two shits about that?
Yeah.
Same thing with you do it for alcohol, you do it for drugs, but you don't do it for mental health aspects. You don't do it for sexual harassment, or you don't do it for anything of that nature, like you're physical wise, but you do it for like substance abuse. Like, when shit happens, I'm not gonna lie, people want to go to drinking or they want to go to drugs because
it's the easy way to go.
Easy way to go, and the coping mechanism that makes people feel better. It won't be like, you know, they'll feel good for like half, like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, but like, at the end of the day, they're going to go right back to it. And that's where we get addiction problems from. Mm-hmm. So if we don't tackle the issue now, then when are people going to really address this issue forthcoming? So these conversations really need to be had, because if not, it's going to be a continuous cycle, and we can't have that, because I don't want another name.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nobody wants another
We don't want to keep adding names to the list, or even just, when it comes to addiction, we don't want to see another name on the RIP list. So
I just want to let people know, though, when it comes to this, if you had any doubt about whether that it would work or not, sensitivity training, first off, do not suppress anything for somebody to better themselves, even if they're in the wrong, because they can learn and they can make it better. Secondly, I know you're not laughing at me. I know why you're laughing.
No,
I know for sure. I know.
So,
I know. No, I hear it.
Yeah.
I'm not laughing at you for
No, I know.
I'm not laughing at this whatsoever.
Should we cut?
No, we're fine. We sit on the side. Not only, the thing is that if you're bettering yourself, I can never turn that away or turn that down, especially if you're in the wrong. The other thing that I could talk about, oh my God. The other thing that I can talk about is that, when it comes to sensitivity training, it works because we all watch podcasts and we watch YouTube all the time.
Yeah.
There's somebody that's back on YouTube that has not been around for 3 years because of things similar to this, less serious, but still serious enough to talk about it. And that person did sensitivity training, and that person is doing phenomenal. When that person said, I'm going away from wrestling, whatever, 3 years later is making the biggest impact, I think, of anybody, between Cultaholic, What Culture, Don, D-Team, KC, JD from NY, all that. So don't tell me that it doesn't work, and don't tell me you don't want that, because it won't help. It will help. Give it a shot.
Yeah.
And I'll do you one better for that too. They should, and it shouldn't just be for adults. They should start teaching this in schools.
Yeah.
Because everything, like I was working out one of my basketball kids yesterday. I tell them practice good habits because it becomes a daily thing at the end of the day. That's all it is. So if we start teaching these kids from the beginning, like how St. John's did the whole whatever the hell it was, sexual education courses that you had to take freshman year. If we do that, but also to really teach his kids from the beginning, all this other stuff, granted, it's hard conversation, they might not understand it at first, but like, at least if we try to ingratiate that in their brain, they're like, okay, this is why I'm not going to do this. This is wrong. I should not do this. Or if I see something of that nature, hey, this is wrong, and I need to put a stop to it. Or like, if this is happening to me, you know what I mean?
And I wouldn't be opposed for somebody that would be in a class like that, because every college does that. They don't work. Because there's so many loopholes that people think, oh, what if this happens? What if that happens? And it's like, no, like, first off, we're not thinking loopholes here. Second off, you would want to be in front of a professional that knows that you can go up and ask, like, is this okay? Is that not okay? And you don't have to feel uncomfortable for thinking that it was or it wasn't. You're a student. You're there to learn. Of course, you're going to ask things that are obviously wrong, but that's the point of being a student, becoming better, becoming wiser. Ask or seek, and you shall receive, and you shall become wise.
And also, growing up, a lot of kids, I don't know if it happens to you guys, but there's a lot of times where kids are even afraid to ask questions or come out and say something because they don't know what approach to go with. So if you have that mindset as a young kid, it's going to build up with you as you get older. So you're going to be afraid to ask questions, ask what's right, what's wrong, and it's going to stick with you. So that's another thing with the mental health a lot of people are dealing with.
I think it comes down to teaching. It shouldn't be about teaching people what to do to protect themselves. It's what we shouldn't be doing so that we don't run into these problems.
Yeah.
Like it's basically, don't educate your daughters on how to stay safe. Educate your sons on how to be safe around.
Yeah. Basically, it shows
in the wording like that.
Show examples of, respect and, just how to treat people with dignity. That's all it really boils down.
I think I'm going to get in on this one. Sorry if you heard something in the background before.
That's okay.
But,
good, bro.
Don't matter.
I'm going to take pieces from what everybody said. Like Noah said, believe the victim, but I don't know if this is going to be playing devil's advocate or I'm just trying to look at things objectively. You believe the victim, but don't believe them fully without hearing the other side too and making your own decision.
I was gonna say that was gonna be.
Hear all sides first. Don't make a decision just because your favorite wrestler came out and say they didn't do it, but somebody else did, because that's holding your idols to a pedestal. And a lot of times when you meet your idols, you turn out they're not that great.
Yeah.
So look at things objectively. Take all the information you could possibly gather after doing your research, and then come with a decision for your own. Don't just lean one way because everybody else seems to be leaning that way. Like Ferrara said earlier, if a certain person had 17 strikes against them, yeah, there's probably something wrong. Something's going to stick. That's 5 strikeouts. Something's going to stick. They're done. But I also don't like this cancel culture that's become a thing on Twitter now. I don't know what happened to 3 strikes and you're out. Now it seems like everybody's like, you get 1 fastball and that's it.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody's so quick on Twitter to just, come for their careers and, just ask and just, tell them to just drop dead because of them, whatever came out about them. It's like, you don't exactly know the whole story. Yeah, some things might look really bad, but you weren't there for it. So it's like you gotta come up with your own objective opinion before you start going for people's heads.
Yeah, now I think we were all raised right by our parents. At least I'd like to believe that we were all raised right now to act around women. But not everybody has had that. Should there be ways to teach them? Yes. That's what school should be for. Not just subjects that odds are you're not going to use after the finals. There needs to be more practical classes, like actual sexual education, actual health education, not just a gym class or something like that. And actually start getting the young people mentally prepared for adulthood.
Yeah. And here's the other thing too. Even with the people that were raised right, some people can still make dumb mistakes or say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing. I've been there. I'm not perfect, but I try my best. I try my best, even though if I've done something wrong, said something wrong, I've been like, oh, fuck, that was wrong. I apologize. Yeah. There are people that don't even get the satisfaction to be told, things like that are wrong. Things like that are wrong. That's why we're here in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah, always 3 sides to a story. Yours, theirs, and the truth.
Yep.
So.
Well, before we end off this topic, let's just say if anybody's offended by what we said, we're sorry, but it's just how we feel. And, we kind of got a little we kind of went off for a while in this whole, but, close this topic off. We support everybody who's been speaking out. We hope you get justice, but at the same time, we hope we find the truth. So, anyway, back to professional wrestling. So, the 5th and final installment of Undertaker's Last Ride documentary has come out, and he has expressed that after his boneyard match with AJ Styles, he has no desire to get back in the ring. Could this be the final goodbye for The Undertaker? Is he finally going to hang up the hat and the jacket and just call it quits now?
I surely hope so.
No.
I hope so. I don't think he will because, Vince still got Saudi Arabia shows to put on.
Pal, I'll owe you one.
Well, after what happened with the last crown jewel, I don't think people are gonna want to go back to Saudi Arabia. So
yeah, but Saudi Arabia people still gonna want it, and Vince is probably going to.
I mean, don't forget, there is a lawsuit.
Yeah, we're still dealing with that lawsuit. I haven't had any updates about that, but
But I know Undertaker's one of my top 2 favorite wrestlers of all time, but didn't he just sign a 7-year deal or some type of deal that runs until he's 15-year deal until he's 70 years old? He's not leaving.
He's not leaving.
I think they're just doing it to lock him out.
I bet you the Royal Rumble next year, Vince is gonna be like, I need you. And then Undertaker's gonna come out like a 25 choke slam and then get thrown over. It leads to his WrestleMania match.
Well, we can only tell from what we saw from the documentary, and according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, he said that his match with Goldberg at the last Super Showdown in Saudi Arabia was the catalyst for his decision to leave, and we all know that was a horrible match that could have practically killed him.
Goldberg almost killed him. Literally was 2 inches away from his neck Like I watched that last part. I watched the whole documentary. I was like, okay, this is something I need to check out.
Why is Goldberg still in the ring? He need to retire too.
Like, come on now. Like the man has a wife. He has a child. You know what I mean?
And even she said
every part-time wrestler.
Even she said in the documentary, usually he calls me if anything's wrong. He immediately called me right after that match and said my back is out.
Yeah, so
exactly.
Even from 2014, dude, like watching Undertaker, well, even further. Actually, Shawn Michaels and Undertaker's match in 2010. The 10s have not been good for him because every other year it would be something where he.
Because let's face it, he went from having the match of the year back at WrestleMania 25, and then WrestleMania 26 was still a great match. Don't get us wrong, but it seems like every match after that he's been getting weaker and weaker, and it's just like his body can't deliver what his mind wants to put in the ring.
Yeah, like, Father Time is catching up.
Especially after 2014, after his streak had ended, everything was just going like his physicality was slowly deteriorating from like 2010 to 2014, and after 2014, it just plummeted because his match with Bray Wyatt was horrible. We can all say that.
Yeah. I'll say this: don't forget that with that match, Bray broke his ankle or foot, and that's the reason why the match was so short and didn't live up to the expectations. And in the documentary, his basic schedule was fight at Mania, rest, get any surgery or recovery he needs, and then he has only 3 months to train for his WrestleMania match.
3 months?
Yeah.
Yikes.
So
after all that surgery recovery.
UFC. Yeah, he was like a UFC training fighter, basically.
Yeah, and
UFC fighters fight more than once a year.
Exactly, yeah. But even then too, like the extensive training to go into that to plan these things, like fuck, wow.
Yeah, after he got his hip replaced, he literally got up from the bed after the anesthesia wore off and started walking, doing physical therapy.
Dude. That's a fucking man right there, bro.
You got to give him props for that, but still, dude.
That was the problem, though. His hips were a big problem of all that. Even in two, he was just concussion city. And I actually want to do a little. I want to strike an interest out of you guys. I know his matches with Triple H and his match with Punk was good, but his matches with Shawn, 26 was better than 25. Debate it.
No, 25. 25 was the best one.
Better?
Yes.
Yeah. Why do you say that? That's interesting.
Because even though 26 ended Shawn Michaels' career, nobody, even in the documentary, he even said that was probably one of the best matches I've had in my career.
Not to mention the story, even though they had that story of, Shawn's career is on the line versus Undertaker's streak, his legacy. It was a better match to tell that story back at 25, whether it's like, Shawn Michaels was the light against the darkness. That was such a better story.
Taker did have better physicality in that match, but I think when it comes to basic storytelling, I remember watching – that was one of the last times before I got back in 2014, 2015 where I watched that feud all the way through. And then I remember watching bits and parts of Undertaker versus Triple H for the second time. Anything that always –
the Hell in a Cell, right?
Yes. Anything to do with that was always great because Undertaker was like, nah, like, you already had your shot. You're not fucking with me. And then Shawn went and cost in a world title match, and Undertaker's like, all right, I'm going to fucking see you in hell. And then they delivered a match. So I think in better circumstances, probably both the same match, but I do agree Undertaker was much more physical in a 25 versus the 26. But the 26 didn't cause him, he didn't need to be physical in that.
Like, I get what you're saying.
Stipulation, 25 had a natural story.
Yeah. And then, you have the two back-to-back matches with Triple H. Keep in mind, 27 was probably his worst year. Because while they did deliver a great match between Triple H, remember, he didn't walk out on his own. He got carted out of Atlanta. So
it's bad when you're the winner and you can't walk out.
Exactly. And then, he had to redeem himself at 28, which, again, another great match, the end of an era. And then 29 with Punk was actually a good match. And then, after 30, it was just been downhill from there.
Well, his legacy, while it's not tarnished, it's a massive hit after he lost the streak. Because think about it, Do we still hold Undertaker in higher regard? Of course, he's the Undertaker. But if he retired with the streak intact, nobody is touching his legacy. He's literally the greatest of all time. No one's touching his legacy if he retires with the streak intact.
Yeah, once that streak ended, that should have been the end. That's just my opinion, though. Like, he didn't need to go another 5-6 years.
Oh, then after 32, it should have ended when he actually gave like a real heartfelt retirement. Like, he left his jacket, he left his coat, and walked out.
That was 30. That was 33.
Excuse me, but yeah, that should have been.
Yeah, even that.
He wasn't going to be. That should have been it.
Yeah, because he took off the jacket, he folded the jacket, took off the gloves, put the hat all on top.
He kissed Michelle in the fucking in his stands.
Yeah,
we were like, wow, this is as human as Undertaker's gonna get. He's Mark right now.
Yeah, like, that ain't Taker. That is Mark Calloway. But then he kept coming back, but. This, while we're debating whether this is the end or not, the hashtag Thank You Taker has been trending on Instagram and on Twitter. Fans have been putting up photos of themselves with Undertaker. Even Santana in AEW posted a picture of an Undertaker toy in his hand, saying that was one of the first wrestling toys he ever had, and at 4 years old, with the hashtag Thank You Taker. So a lot of people showing off their Undertaker memorabilia and any fan photos they have of him with hashtag Thank You Taker. Even Madison Square Garden put up like a picture of his on their Titantron outside, saying with the hashtag Thank You Taker. So this is kind of a confusing thing, because if he signed for this 15-year deal and he's not going to be in the ring, all right, are they going to put him as a producer? They're going to put him like doing backstage work, because I personally can't really see him in that role.
I tell you what, it's gonna suck after all it is, and he comes back at Crown Jewel.
Oh God.
Yeah.
But going back to the memorabilia with Taker, when I first got into wrestling, there used to be a wrestling store at the mall near my house, and that was the first thing I've ever bought, an Undertaker mini plaque. I bought it for like $15, and I still have it to this day.
Nice.
Yeah, I got John Cena's signed picture somewhere, but I feel like he didn't even sign.
Well, we ain't talking about John Cena. This is
it's
all dedicated to the Undertaker.
You wait in 5 years' time. John Cena's going to be the next one. Thank you, Cena.
I doubt it.
You can't see him.
Cena's still in shape, and
Cena wasn't loved like the Undertaker. Cena was loved by me especially, but he's not on the same level as the Undertaker.
If Cena retires in 5 years, he has to shave the head one more time.
As long as
really revealed his bald spot.
Yeah. As long as he shaves the lightning fist from his moveset too.
Yo, word.
Well, hopefully he got a hair transplant.
No, he needs to borrow LeBron James headband. Borrow one from Angelo Dawkins. He's got two of them.
Jesus Christ. Well, regardless of what's going on, we still got that hashtag, and it's still on the table. Even Taker said he's unsure, because he said if Vince was in a pinch, if he will return, only time will tell.
Vince is gonna be like, I need you back. But I feel like Taker is only gonna want to work with one man, and that's AJ Styles. Because after the match they had, granted with circumstances with COVID and all that stuff, it was widely regarded, and it was a pretty good match considering that it was like cinematic.
Yeah, that's one thing you got to give them props for.
First off, yeah, one thing, like, they have that level of trust with each other, especially with Taker. He's not gonna want to work with like Baron Corbin. No offense to Baron Corbin, but like, he's not gonna work with like a Joe Schmo. Like, AJ Styles is one of the like AJ Styles is one of the best wrestlers in the world, if not top 3, and then not 3. You know what I mean? So like, I feel like if he's gonna come back, it'll probably be for an actual wrestling match with AJ Styles, because then they could build that story saying, okay, AJ be like, okay, you beat me in a damn boneyard match, which Taker didn't even know what the fuck that was, to be quite honestly, and neither did Triple H.
I think anybody knew what that was.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like,
even Kevin.
Even in the last ride, like, even like Triple H was like, well, what's a boneyard match? And they were like, well, we'll figure it out, which leads to, I'm not even going to get to this damn company further down lying because I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna be heated again like last week, so I'm not.
But, hey man, we giving you the gas. Go on.
We're giving you the gas, and we handed you the match. Yeah.
Go on, brother.
No, that's good. It's good. When we get to the next topic, I feel like I might be a little more heated after that.
Regardless of what happens, AJ Styles mentioned that if the Boneyard match was Taker's last match, he's honored to be his last opponent. But again, only time will tell. And we hope Undertaker, if he's going to continue wrestling, he does matches with people he can trust and can work safely with, and maybe could keep doing those cinematic matches, because he can go at his own pace, still look strong, and just keep being the dead man. But
if this was the last match, thank you though.
If this was the last match, thank you.
Hey, it was the best match he's had in a while. It's the best match he's had in a while. So if he's gonna retire, this is the one to retire on.
Yep. Mm-hmm. All right. So before we get to our last segment, I want to give some updates revolving around the current state of the COVID-19 situation. So as far as that goes, two dozen more tests have come out positive out of WWE, and unfortunately, as far as those go, Renee Young has tested positive, and unfortunately for Noah, Caleb Braxton has tested positive for the second time.
Yeah, we got two brothers down their wives already.
Yeah. And as far as AEW goes, Jon Moxley and QT Marshall were not at Dynamite after coming in contact with friends who may have been infected. However, Jon Moxley's situation may be different since his wife tested positive. It could have been, that he may have contracted from there, but he's got himself tested and his results came back negative. God, Mox staying strong. And QT Marshall is still waiting on his results.
This is what happens when, AEW is nothing to get mad at because they can only do so much. But, I never heard Bryan Alvarez and Dave Meltzer blow a gasket so much over this as anybody else has, because they're the ones that are like, they have the power. If they wanted to bring something to the mainstream media like Fox and CNN, they could. But they haven't. Because all they're saying is Kevin Dunn and Vince, it's the both of them. Fuck them. They're in and out of their heads. They're up their asses. And they keep saying, why isn't it a major story? Why isn't it a major story? You have the power. Why don't you make it a major story for them to cover?
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
It's all of Florida, technically. Nobody's going out with masks. And I don't care what you say. You have to wear a mask, whether it's a law or not. It's doing to protect yourself and your loved ones. Because if you go out without a mask and you come into contact with the virus and you come home and you contract it and you give it to somebody else, how is that going to make you feel? Honestly.
Word.
You can't only think about yourself all the time. You have to think about your other family members, even those with respiratory issues, diabetes, all this. You got to think about them more than yourself for once. And that's the problem with today's society.
Okay, hold up.
Boy.
I love it.
I've been feeling this for a while since I saw that. So, first off, if Caleb Braxton ever sees this, I love you, and I'm so sorry you got COVID twice.
We can confirm he does in fact love you, Caleb.
If you get better, he will send roses to your house.
He might come to your house.
No, don't say that. Don't say that. No. Don't say that.
There you go.
I will send roses to the performance center if it is possible, but I don't know where you're living at. That's not my business. Anyway, come on, DJ.
Way to put him on the spot, bro.
No, you're making this situation awkward than it already is.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So continue what we're saying, right? So I feel like Renee Young tested positive, Kayla tested positive for the second time, right? Can we just look at the fact of how shitty this company is completely? Because they've had more COVID cases in the last week and a half alone. This goes back to the fact, wear a mask. These people in attendance should be wearing masks. I don't understand. AEW is different. People will be like, well, AEW is not wearing masks because they're outside of the fucking arena.
Mm-hmm.
or wherever the hell they are.
Their
they're
arena is like an outdoor type
like an
thing.
amphitheater.
Not to mention, plus they're getting tested consistently.
That's what I'm saying. Like performance center is indoor, like it's indoors. I don't understand it. So like, wear a mask. You're selling the fucking mask on www.shop.com, I think. So if you want to promote your company further or your merchandise further, wear the fucking mask. Tell them to wear masks. Like, I just understand. Like, you're putting innocent people's lives at stake, their mental health at stake, and the families of other people at stake. Like, this company is so backwards. And Kevin Dunn, I hope he gets fired. I hope he never works in a damn promotion again. Because you can't be that stupid.
Oh, now these trades are under Vince.
Or like, stop slurping, Vince. Excuse me. So like,
no need to be excused.
It's so idiotic. We're in the middle of a pandemic, and I went off on this last week. We're in the middle of a pandemic. Like, you see people getting more and more cases. Florida has got 5,500, I think, today. Texas got like 5,000 today. The number is going to keep on growing if people aren't going to take this proper safety precautions. New York, I don't care what anybody says, New York is not the hotspot of the COVID anymore. It's not.
I hope we're not.
It's not. Why not? I hope not. But it's not for sure anymore. But it's Texas and it's Florida. Because people want to be stupid. They want to open up shit for the economy and not for people's well-being. But just a mere fact, you haven't been testing these people in the first place, and now you're testing them. Caleb Ashton should not have COVID for 2 times in like the last month or so, or a month and a half, or 2 months.
Well, I think it kind of goes back to our dear old president, where we won't get cases if we don't test people. Now we're testing people.
And he's an idiot as well.
Well, let's not get too political on this. So, but
I know, but like, all right. So think of it like this:
it's humanitarian. He's a fucking idiot.
Fine.
Wasn't like
fine, go off.
She reports backdown. Huh?
I was gonna say, fine, go off. I don't care anymore.
I was gonna say, Kayla, I believe she's still a reporter on quote-unquote reporter on SmackDown. So she still interviews like the superstars and stuff like that for backstage interviews, correct?
Yeah.
So like, she just got COVID, right, for the second time. So she's been on television most recently. If I'm not mistaken, she's probably on it last week or did the tapings last week.
I believe so.
So that means you're telling me more people. She's been in close contact with like with John Morrison, The Miz, all those other type of people. So like, my whole thing is she's been in contact with other people, and they've been in contact with other people and self. The whole situation just fucked up, in my opinion.
It really is. Well, we hope Renee and Kayla get better, and so again, we're asking people is wear a mask and stay safe. Mm-hmm. We're done with the news, so let's go on to a new segment. So, The Score, I don't know if you ever heard of this site or whatever it is. They put up a bracket that we have found on Facebook for the greatest wrestler of all time. And you know what? We decided let's just go through this bracket, see who is the greatest wrestler of all time for us here at the Goood Sh podcast. So there's four regions. We have the suplex region, the chokeslam region, the pile driver region, and the power bomb region. So which one do you guys want to start with?
Suplex. We'll start with suplex.
Suplex?
Top corner.
Suplex region? Okay, so.
Suplex City, bitch.
Here we go. So the first matchup we have for the suplex region is the number 1 spot, Hulk Hogan going against number 8, The Big Show. Is this really even a discussion?
Hogan versus The Big Show?
Wait, where'd Noah go? Oh, no.
I think you want to go reminisce about Caleb Braxton.
Don't do that.
Oh, boy.
Don't snap at me. Don't you start that now.
Your Ferrari, I'm sorry to say this, but your facial expressions in the position you're in right now is giving me the most on this.
Why? Because I have
you need to stop.
I have Safari, and it's like a fucking, what do you call it? Oh, we're still recording, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have Safari, and there's like a virus, so like I'm trying to clear it out by myself.
Oh, boy.
I'm very
but anyway.
So Safari has COVID.
My phone after because I can't.
I guess I'll go first.
So Hulk Hogan against The Big Show.
Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan?
Yeah.
Hogan.
All right. All right. Before we go any further, I forgot to mention this. So the way we're going to be judging each matchup, we're going to go by skill, match quality, impact on the business, and overall character of each performer. So yeah, we're all going with Hulk Hogan.
When Big Show turns 4 times a show, character kind of goes out the window.
Skill,
Hulk Hogan's been pushed to be at the top of the game. He literally was a generational talent for like the 80s and part of the 90s. Yeah, he kind of got that over Big Show.
And while we have shine lights on Hogan, and he's done probably more harm than good for the business. He was basically the icon of the 80s for professional wrestling.
Everybody was a Hulkamaniac in the 80s, though.
Yeah,
Dick.
So Hulk Hogan's moving on. So next matchup, we have number 4 Chris Jericho going against number 5 Brock Lesnar.
Jericho. I don't even care if the Regent's suplex. I don't care what Brock's super moves are. But Jericho is one of the top, in my opinion, a top 5 wrestler of all time. I don't care.
Absolutely.
Jericho gets into a fight with Lesnar, knowing that he's going to fucking lose and die, and he still goes for it.
I mean, don't forget when Randy Orton went up against Brock Lesnar, he almost hurt Randy Orton. And what did Jericho do in the backstage? He started an altercation with Brock Lesnar.
Because he's like, what are you doing? Like, you're going to tell me what you did? And he goes, don't worry about it. And Jericho's like, no, fuck you. And then there you go. I love it.
Hey, Jericho.
Yeah, not even
Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Out in the first round.
I was going to say, but yeah, not even that. Just going, Jericho has an amazing skill set, amazing character. He's had what, like 5 or 6 character changes, and they've all worked for him.
Successful.
You go from the Lionheart in WCW to Y2J, which is still being referred to this day. He has his whole thing, the Ayatollah of rock and roll, when after he started coming out with the light up jacket. And even he got a clipboard over. Come on,
he got a
clipboard over.
Got a jacket over.
He got
a Christmas jacket over with lights on.
He got a back elbow over.
Yeah, a back. He's now got a back elbow over. Basically,
he made scarves a thing in WWE.
Yes, anything this man puts in front of him, he gets over. So this is I just wanted to keep discussing this and practically praising Chris Jericho.
Brock has gotten the title so much in WWE, he doesn't even care at this rate.
He really doesn't, and he's had really no impact on the business whatsoever.
And he holds the title for 3 months and shows up twice.
Exactly. So, no question.
What the song should be? Here Comes the Money. Shane's theme song.
Here we go. Money talks.
Yeah, it really does for him. It really does for him. So, without question, Chris Jericho moves on to the next round. This next matchup could be a little tricky because for one we love, the other we weren't really around for. So we have number 3 Dusty Rhodes going against number 6 Edge.
Is it bad that I'm choosing, even though I wasn't alive, I'm still going with Dusty Rhodes?
That's not bad because that's why it's on. We grew up watching Edge, so initially we would probably think Edge because our parents watched Dusty Rhodes, not us. But when you think about it,
who's in between? I lagged out.
Edge and Dusty Rhodes.
Edge and Dusty Rhodes.
But when you think about all that Dusty's done for the business, being helping NXT get off the ground.
Yeah, I was gonna say mention his impact today, not even just back in the 80s. Because let's face it, without Dusty,
nobody doing no Bionic
Games match.
Anymore. Nobody doing no Bionic elbows anymore. So Dusty's impact ain't his moveset. It's obviously all of the stuff he's got up here in his mind.
But don't forget, it may not be his skills, but his character, his charisma, the way he interacts with the fans. When he does his little dances, gyrating, and then does the bionic elbow. The fans got hyped for that, and now his impact, in NXT. Here's how I like to put it: if NXT was like the Lion King, Dusty's Mufasa, and Triple H is Simba. Let's put it that way.
I didn't hear because I lagged out. It's between Dusty and Triple H?
No, Dusty and Edge.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was wondering why you're so quiet.
So I would have to give my edge to Dusty, even though I loved Edge watching growing up. He has one of my favorite theme songs of all time.
Oh, dude.
But I would have to go to Dusty because of what we have today because of him.
I was about to say, if there was no Dusty, there would probably be no Edge. So, yeah.
So, yeah. And, not to say Edge isn't bad, for the fact that, yeah, most recently he's coming back after 9 years of being inactive, and he's looked better than ever, and he's had good character over the years, and who could forget all those ladder matches, with Christian and the Dudleys and the Hardys, those probably some of the most
People will talk
iconic
about him
matches
steering
ever.
Mick Foley through a flaming table at 22.
Yeah, exactly. But when it all boils down, I think we have to give this one to Dusty. So Dusty moves on to the next round. Now, this might be the toughest part of this
should not
region.
be a first round match.
It really should. This should have been like a fun. This should have been like a finals match.
Final four. This is Elite Eight or Final Four. This is not a first round match.
So the way this bracket really screwed us right now. So final match for the suplex region, we have the number 2 Shawn Michaels going against number 7 Daniel Bryan.
Shawn.
Well, Daniel Bryan number 17. Who made this bracket?
There wouldn't be a Daniel Bryan if it was not Shawn Michaels, and Shawn Michaels is the best professional wrestler in.
I'll have to say Shawn.
It's Shawn Michaels. HBK, HP Shizzle, HP, whatever the hell you want to call him.
WrestleMania, he got it all.
WrestleMania, Mr. Hall of Fame.
Well, let's also not forget the Yes Movement, man. Come on, I know.
No.
This is basically a matchup against student versus teacher, but you also got to look at what the student has done for the business. He's
right.
He's really coming to his own, and also he's actually brought back. I wouldn't say brought back, but like he's emphasizing the importance of good technical wrestling and good storytelling when it comes to his matches. Shawn may have been the author of all of the storytelling when it comes to his matches, but Daniel Bryan is really coming into his own when it comes to storytelling in his matches, and even delivering promos too.
No, you're right. Like I'm not discrediting Daniel Bryan.
No, not at all.
And I think that this is a very tough matchup. And to me, they both are very similar. It's so hard. They should have been on different opposite sides of the bracket to get to that Final Four stage. Mm-hmm. But for me, again, I just think Shawn has been on top of his game since the very beginning. You know what I mean? I feel like Daniel is growing into his own, but Shawn is just the best professional wrestler ever, in my opinion. His storytelling, he's incredibly charismatic. Attention to details, the smallest of the little things. Daniel Bryan learned a lot of those things from Shawn Michaels, which makes Daniel Bryan so great today, adding his own flair to things. But yeah, man, Shawn, every Shawn Michaels match, I don't mind going back and be like, damn, that was really, really, really good. Yeah. Daniel Bryan, same thing, but like with certain superstars, but like not like damn, like Shawn's match was like on Raw, this was really good. You know what I mean? Like Shawn's match on SmackDown against Ray, that was really good. You know what I mean? Like that was like 10 or 12
Yeah,
years.
I mean, when it boils down to matches, if you look at matches, like his ladder match against Razor Ramon at WrestleMania 10, or even the what's it called? The Iron Man match against Bret Hart at WrestleMania 12, and
match with Stone Cold at 13.
Even as little as his match on Monday Night Raw against Shelton Benjamin, where he delivered that insane super kick with Shelton Benjamin springing off the top rope. That clip is still being played to this day.
That's in the game. That's in WWE 2K20.
Yeah, like even his match against Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 21.
Yeah,
brand supremacy match. That was like I liked wrestling then, but that match, after seeing that match, I really fell in love with it. I was like, this is so good. Like the storytelling, the way that he brings you in, he pulls you in. and be like, yeah, I want you to either root for me, I want you to fucking hate me.
Yeah, and also not to mention too, these guys have had major comeback stories from injury. Shawn Michaels back in 96, where he busted up his back, and they thought he would never wrestle again. And then Daniel Bryan, what was it, back in 20? Help me out here, guys.
It was 15.
2015.
I want to say it was like 15.
With what?
With Daniel Bryan's concussions, they thought he. What was it?
Daniel Bryan's concussion was 2015, but Shawn Michaels was involved with Daniel Bryan in 2012 into 2013.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 2015, Daniel Bryan had like concussions, and they thought that he would never wrestle again. So these guys have really had similar career paths, and they both tell really good stories. They're really good wrestlers. What it all boils down to, but I think just to end off on this debate right here. There would be no student without a teacher. So we're all in agreement. Shawn Michaels moves on to the next round.
Yeah, I'm gonna speak on this one a little bit because I think we can all say we love Daniel Bryan, but we all also grew up with Shawn Michaels. Both can play both face and heel tremendously well.
Yes.
Like you love and hate both of them in their role. Daniel Bryan is a lot of the reason why Kofi's WrestleMania win was so great, because he was such a fantastic heel. Shawn Michaels is one of the most beloved baby faces of all time, but he could also be one of the most hated heels of all time. It is really incredible what both of these guys have done. This is why I said when Oscar presented it that it shouldn't be a first round match. This is criminal. But Shawn Michaels is my second favorite wrestler of all time. I'm personally a John Cena fan. Don't kill me, but you probably will. This is why I have to give to Shawn Michaels, who grew up and didn't do a super kick. Everybody tried to do a super kick.
Ferrara and I were doing super kicks in college.
Not to make a mean super kick look good.
Everybody tried to do a super kick.
We scared some sorority girls doing super kicks.
Everybody loved to do Shawn Michaels' entrance, the sexy boy. I still do the little lean and flex on every now and then.
Dude,
Everybody
my homeboy and I, we do the DX pose all the time. Granted, I'm Triple H. He doesn't mean Shawn Michaels pose though.
Like Daniel Bryan is iconic in his own right, but Shawn Michaels has 4 nicknames for a reason. He is one of the top 3 iconic WWE wrestlers of all time. So that's why I have to give it mine to Shawn Michaels.
So yeah.
All right, Daniel.
So it's mutual. Shawn Michaels, right?
We love you too, Daniel.
Believe me, we love Daniel. Trust me, we wouldn't have gone on like a 10-minute debate about this if Daniel Bryan wasn't that good.
Yeah, but we talking about the showstopper, the icon, the main event.
He's called Mr. WrestleMania.
Yeah,
I didn't want to continue with it, but like Mr. WrestleMania, like Mr.
Like it stops there.
It's just,
and plus, do you ever think there'll be another Mr. WrestleMania? No, it's always going to.
If it wasn't the Undertaker, it's not going to be. If it wasn't the Undertaker with his streak, it's not going to be another Mr. WrestleMania.
No, but that ends the suplex region. I think we're gonna move on to the choke slam region. So, with this one, the first matchup we have the number 1 Randy Savage going against number 8 AJ Styles.
That was AJ Styles and 8 seed. That was AJ Styles and 8 seed.
I'm going Savage.
I gotta go Styles.
Savage. Styles? Really?
Styles, yes.
Like stop. You're not going with Savage, bro?
Well, tough call because it's a tough call because you're talking about one of the greatest intercontinental champions against one of the best professional wrestlers on the planet right now. So
I know I'm the swing vote, but I'm really thinking about it because Macho Man is still a meme to this day. Everybody does the Macho Man.
Anybody who's gone to a Comic-Con or wherever has one person or another has always mimicked Randy Savage and somehow.
Oh yeah.
Everybody does Macho Man Randy Savage. But
it's different time because they liked that back then. Meanwhile, that wouldn't last right now. AJ Styles gives you
the AJ Styles is arguably, like we said earlier, top 3 in the world and probably not 3. So I gotta give my edge to AJ Styles too.
But anyway, looks like it's the bird you all requested. Making it.
Hey, the mascot is back.
the Good Shit podcast mascot.
We have that mascot too.
Yeah.
George Michaels is also our mascot.
So,
all right. I know this is not on the list, but where are we going? Number 1, the bird, and number 7, George Michael.
There's 1 versus 8, sir. Get the bracket right.
I like to see the bird sing with Elton John.
Oh boy. Anyway, so Savage, Styles, who are we going with?
It's AJ Styles.
Styles?
The 8 seed with the upset.
Wow.
If you can really call it an upset.
Looks like you got outnumbered here, brother.
I went to St. John's. We always get outnumbered.
Hey man, we had a winning record this year, all right?
All right, so we're all in agreement. AJ Styles moves on.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, next matchup we have is Ricky Steamboat, number 4, against number 5, CM Punk.
Oh,
well, Ferrari gave his.
You didn't even have to say number 4, bro.
Yeah, CM Punk.
You already know we're going with the cult of personality right now.
CM Punk is
true.
Ricky Steamboat is probably one of them. Put the Intercontinental Championship on the map back in the day, and he had phenomenal matches. Don't get me wrong, but the way CM Punk has handled his entire career, he did it without any problems. He had no flaws.
Fame shit, bro. Really.
I said it in group text. CM Punk made WWE fans chant his names for 8 years now on the strength of 3 months.
Well,
that's saying a lot.
I was gonna say since the pipe bomb back in what was that 2011, and his name is still being chanted even after he's gone.
He built 9 years of people wanting him, literally hijacking shows, chanting his name on the strength of 4 months.
Oh,
it's got to be CM Punk.
See it? So,
and it got to the point where even McMahon put wrestlers and his children to say, "Don't worry, he's never coming back to this company again."
But yeah, I'm pretty sure if you mention CM Punk in the back, Vince gets a chill down his spine, like.
The air conditioner's on.
Yeah. Oh boy. So no question here. Then CM Punk moves on.
Yep.
All right.
Yes, well, it's clobbering time, man.
Yep. Well, next matchup we got Battle of WCW companions. We have Sting going against Booker T.
Sting.
Booker
T. Okay, so we got 1-1 for Booker T and Sting.
I'm gonna go Booker 2, 5 times.
5 time. But remember, Sting has also made his name known around.
I know he got a bat over. He got a bat over.
Yes.
But I'm gonna go King Booker.
King Booker. Skeeves.
Now can you dig that?
Wow. Okay. Wow. I honestly thought Sting was gonna be the one. Yes, I see your fingers, sis. Thanks.
We have had the lower seed win literally every matchup.
See, even your sister agrees with Booker T. She was doing the whole hand thing. He's trying to get that energy.
5 time.
We have picked the lower seed in literally every match of this region.
Upsets, bro. They're upsets.
Well, Booker T.
5 is not really an upset.
All right. Well, since we've been going on this for a while, we want to save some time for the rest of the bracket for the weeks to come. So the last matchup we're going to do for the Chokeslam region here. We have number 2, the Undertaker, going against number 7, Andre the Giant.
1,
without a question.
2, 1. Wait. 1, 2, 3. Undertaker.
There's not even a question.
If you don't pick him, you're going to go one-on-one with The Undertaker.
I was going to say, Teddy Long didn't intimidate guys by telling them they're going to go one-on-one with The Undertaker for a reason.
But high key, though, if we were just going to talk about a choke slam, Andre's putting Undertaker right into hell. But it's not just on a choke slam.
And Undertaker, the moment I fell in love watching The Undertaker is when he had his feud with Randy Orton. And it was a Friday night SmackDown. And he was laying in a casket, and Randy and his dad are talking, this and that. Taker just opens one eye, everybody sees it, and then Randy looks into the casket, Undertaker grabs him by the throat, choke slam. That's the moment I fell in love with Undertaker.
Moment I fell in love with Undertaker, I saw a promo of him in 2007. It wasn't even a promo. It was just going to commercial, and I was like, oh, this is going to happen with The Undertaker next. Eyes rolled in the back of his head. I asked my cousin, who's that? Oh, that's The Undertaker. I go, I like
like Undertaker's had a lot of iconic moments. Like from those two to choke slamming Edge through the ring at SummerSlam.
Hell, his kip up is it's up there with Shawn Michaels. He just sits up. Like everybody knows this is about to happen.
Yeah,
this is about to pick up when Undertaker sits up.
I'm not gonna lie to you. When I was a Taker fan before, but like I really started to fall in love with Taker at Survivor Series in like 08 or 07 or 06, 07 when or maybe 05 actually. No, it was 05 because that was the best Survivor Series 5-on-5 elimination match ever. But when Randy was the sole survivor when he RKO'd Shawn Michaels, and then after that all of SmackDown celebrating him, and then you could just hear a do.
You hear that, you know it's going down.
I want to get down. What the fuck?
You hear the gong, it's a wrap.
I was gonna say, when you hear the gong, you know you're in trouble.
Like it's a wrap.
So,
and if you heard that firework, just that type of energy just hit.
Hell, even when he had the Druids with him, you knew it was over.
Yo, we can get off this match if this one's over. I don't think Andre scored in this game. It was like 100-0.
When the Undertaker became the dead man again, he went through a weird phase. Like he had his hair short, and then he had his hair like half red and like half black. It was so sick.
Yeah, even the American Badass gimmick got over so well. We were actually hoping for. Well, actually, we kind of got it like a half and half with the Boneyard match.
We got the motorcycle.
Kind of like that biker name. It's like, yo, that's Mark Undertaker Calloway.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, Taker, let's go for a ride. All right, man.
Oh, well.
Buckle up,
all right, boys.
With that being said, Undertaker moves on to the next round. We will go through the last two regions of the bracket next week, the pile driver and the power bomb region next week, and we will continue this until we have the Good Shit Podcast greatest wrestler of all time. Well, according to this bracket. But until next week, we want to thank you guys once again for joining us here at the Good Shit Podcast. Subscribe to the channel. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram at Good Shit Podcast NY. Follow us on Twitter at Good Shit Podcast. And, just support the podcast. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell anybody who loves watching two men in the ring. But
two men
or women.
Two men or two women.
It's 5 guys on Zoom.
Yeah, 5 guys on Zoom talking about wrestling. Tell everybody you know about this. Until next week, I'm Oscar Cifuentes.
DJ DSP and
I'm just the kid with the long name.
Repackaged.
And I'm Noah Griffith.
And I'm just a George Michaels reject.
Thank you guys once again. We will see you next week.
Oh, I could